You've been told your whole life that being an optimist is the key to success. Think positive. Look on the bright side. But what if that's actually terrible advice? What if the single biggest mindset secretly sabotaging your life isn't negativity, but a hidden flaw baked right into your optimism? Picture this. You've got a huge project due in 2 weeks. You take one look and think, oh, I've got this. Plenty of time. You feel cool, confident, totally in control. So you put it off. You chip away at smaller, easier things. A week goes by. Then another few days. Suddenly, it's 3 days until the deadline. You've barely started and a tidal wave of panic washes over you. That initial calm, that breezy optimism, has steered you directly into a crisis. This isn't just a simple case of procrastination. This is your brain running a faulty program, a cognitive glitch that's incredibly common. And it has a name. This hidden saboteur is called the optimism bias. It's our brain's powerful and pervasive tendency to overestimate the good stuff happening to us and underestimate the bad stuff. Think of your brain as a GPS that only shows you the beautiful, sunny destination but conveniently forgets to mention the 5-car pileup, the road closures, and the soul-crushing traffic on the way. It makes you feel great about the trip, but leaves you completely unprepared for the journey. And this isn't just about missing deadlines. This bias quietly messes with the big stuff: your health, your money, and your relationships. In health, the optimism bias is that little voice whispering, "That won't happen to me." It's why studies show that smokers consistently underestimate their risk of getting cancer compared to other smokers. During the COVID-19 pandemic, this same bias led many to ignore public health advice, believing they were personally less likely to get infected, which had devastating consequences. It's a bias that makes us skip a health checkup or forget sunscreen, because our brain is wired to assume the worst is reserved for other people. Financially, it's just as destructive. It pumps up overconfidence in investors, making them underestimate market swings and take on way too much risk. Many experts see the 2008 financial crisis as a large-scale example of optimism bias, where the widespread belief that housing prices would only ever go up led to catastrophic decisions. On a personal level, it's the voice that convinces aspiring entrepreneurs to pour their life savings into a business, totally ignoring the harsh statistics on startup failures because their venture will be the exception. And then there's the most common version, something Nobel laureate Daniel Kahneman and his colleague Amos Tversky called the planning fallacy. This is our hilarious belief that projects will take less time, cost less money, and have fewer issues than they actually do, even when our own past is littered with evidence to the contrary. In one survey, Canadian taxpayers mailed their forms in a full week later than they predicted, even though they knew their track record from previous years. We see our past failures to plan, yet remain unshakably convinced that this time will be different. This cycle of overpromising and underdelivering, fueled by misplaced optimism, leads to chronic stress, burnout, and a slow, painful hit to your self-esteem and credibility. Testo prevenido. If any of this is starting to feel a little too real, if you're seeing yourself in these patterns, do me a favor and hit that like button. You are definitely not the only one. So why are our brains like this? It's not a character flaw. It's a feature of our neural wiring. Neuroscientist Talal Sherratt, a leading researcher on this, has shown our brains are literally built to look on the bright side. Her research shows that specific brain regions, like the frontal cortex, are responsible for weighing good news versus bad news. For most people, the brain is way better at processing positive information about the future. Hear good news. Hey, your odds of success are higher than you thought, and your brain eagerly updates its beliefs. But when you get bad news, the brain often just brushes it aside, failing to adjust your expectations. It's fascinating that people with mild depression often lack this bias, which can make them more realistic, if sadder, in their outlook. This bias probably has evolutionary roots. Believing we might succeed is what pushes us to explore, take risks, and try again after failing. It's what kept our ancestors hunting even after a few bad days. Optimism is also a natural stress reducer and is generally linked with better health. So in the moment, it feels good. It's a mental shield that keeps us moving forward instead of being paralyzed by fear. But here, we have to draw a critical line between optimism bias and what's often called toxic positivity. Toxic positivity is that social pressure to slap a smile on everything and pretend you're not struggling. Optimism bias is different, it's a cognitive error. It's not about denying your feelings. It's your brain making a statistical oopsie about the future. The two can feed each other, for sure, but the glitch we're tackling today is in our predictive machinery. So is that it? Are we just doomed to be slaves to our faulty, perpetually sunny brains? Is the only other option to become a full-blown cynic? Absolutely not. The goal isn't to kill your optimism, but to aim it. The secret is to transform from an unrealistic optimist into a realistic optimist. A realistic optimist is someone who keeps that positive vision for the future, but does it with their eyes wide open to the rocks, potholes, and monsters along the path. They dream big, but they plan for a bumpy ride. They hope for the best, but they prepare for the worst. This isn't just a nice self-help quote. It's a scientifically validated strategy for actually getting things done. And there's a brilliant, simple tool to help you do it, developed by psychologist Gabrielle Oettingen. It's called WOOP. WOOP is an acronym for Wish, Outcome, Obstacle, Plan. It's a mental framework designed to fight back against the daydreamy, unproductive side of pure positive thinking by anchoring your goals in the real world. Let's walk through it. First, W is for wish. This is your goal. Get specific. It should be challenging but doable. Don't just say, I want to be healthier. Make it concrete. My wish is to run a 5,000 race 3 months from now without stopping. That's your destination. Second, O is for outcome. Now you get to unleash your optimism. What is the single best result of achieving this wish? Close your eyes and vividly imagine it. Feel it. Don't just think, I'll be proud. Imagine the feeling of your feet hitting the pavement across the finish line, the sweat, the cheers, that wave of pure accomplishment. This step is key because it connects your goal to a powerful emotional reward, giving you the why that fuels you. This is where most positive thinking taps out. But with WOOP, this is where the magic really starts. The third step, the second O, is for obstacle. This is the most crucial part. You have to honestly identify the main internal thing that could stop you. This isn't about external problems like bad weather. It's about what's inside you. What's the habit, the emotion, the excuse that always trips you up? Be brutally honest. For our 5K runner, an obstacle might be after a long day at work. I feel drained and tell myself, I'll just run tomorrow. By identifying this, you're shining a spotlight on the exact moment your optimism bias would normally lead you astray. You're finally looking at the traffic jam on your mental GPS. Finally, P is for plan. Once you know your obstacle, you create a simple but powerful if-then plan to crush it. The formula is, if obstacle happens, then I will action. Your plan has to be specific and immediate. For instance, if I feel too tired after work to train, then I will immediately change into my running clothes and walk out the door for just 5 minutes. This creates an automatic trigger. It yanks the decision-making out of the equation right when you're most vulnerable. You don't need willpower. You just execute the plan you already made with a clear head. Studies have shown this technique of mentally contrasting the dream with the reality dramatically increases your chances of actually achieving your goals. So the mindset that secretly ruins your life isn't pessimism, it's optimism left unchecked. It's that seductive whisper that things will just work out, that you're the exception to the rule, and that the road ahead will be easy. This optimism bias is a deep part of our nature, a cognitive illusion that's hard to shake. But knowing it exists is the first step to mastering it. The solution isn't to stop dreaming. It's to start preparing. By using a simple tool like WOOP, you can pair the horsepower of a positive vision with the clear-eyed reality of the obstacles ahead. You become a realistic optimist, someone who uses hope as fuel, but who also respects the journey enough to pack a map, a spare tire, and a first aid kit. You can start building a life that's not just optimistically imagined, but realistically achieved. Now, I want to hear from you. What's one area of your life where you think this optimism bias might be holding you back? Is it your career, your health, a personal project? Drop your story in the comments below. Let's start a real conversation and learn from each other. And if this video was an eye-opener, make sure to subscribe for more insights on mastering your own mind.